What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You already know what time it is. This is your boy, the historian. You either get right or you get left. We are on the Perch tonight. We got a special interview with Decatur's own. Let me go ahead and correct it. We got somebody from Decatur where it's greater that's coming through the building tonight with us. We have Miss Lauren Allen coming through the building, and she's gonna be on the Perch with us. So before we go ahead and get this thing cranked up and started, sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. We got you for a few before college football kicks off. Y'all stay tuned. Hit that like and subscribe button on the way in.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
And we're back like we never left. So I got to go ahead and get this introduction right, man. You know, I'm from the SWATs, baby, of Atlanta. I've been around all these folk from the east side of the city, whether it's K-Dub, whether it's Scoop. I mean, all these east side jokers. But you know what? They from the crib, so it's all love. And they done, and Scoop done slid another east sider in here on me. So I gotta roll with it, but it's okay. But much love to this person that's coming in here. She definitely was one of the best to come out of Southwest Dekalb and laid the groundwork for the Southwest Dekalb ladies basketball team. And she also did her thing at Clemson. So without further ado, I got to welcome onto the Perch. We've got Miss Lauren Allen, a.k.a. LA. What's going on? Welcome to the Perch.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing well today. How about yourself?
Man, you know what? I would complain, but I can't. I got the Dogs tomorrow playing Clemson. We gonna step on that a little bit. I see you got yours on. So
I do represent Clemson,
as you can see. Yeah. Got that dog jersey in the cut as always. But getting back to it, I'm doing all right, man. It was payday today. Unfortunately, these folks about to take my money for my bills. Now I just got to sit back and figure out what I'm gonna eat tomorrow and just enjoy the Dogs. Playing against your Clemson Tigers. We're going to touch on that in a little bit, but let's talk about you. Okay. Welcome to On the Perch. We've been trying to set this thing up for a minute, and we finally have you in here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. So coming in here, the thing that's special about this interview is you're actually the first female athlete we had in here.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the second.
Oh, okay.
Miss D Todd was the first because she used to long jump, so I can't knock you. How you doing, Miss D? Don't kill me for that.
So the first basketball athlete.
You're the first
female.
You're the first female basketball athlete we've had in here. So the birdcage, we have a lot of firsts in here. So let's go ahead and jump into your career, your life, what you're doing now. Let's go ahead and get it started. You're from Atlanta, Georgia, Decatur, where it's greater, as they would
Yes,
always say on your
of
side of
course.
town.
Yes, yes.
How is it? So with you, how did you get started into basketball, and what is it about? It's just something about those athletes that come from the east side of the city. Y'all just bred different. So what's up? What got you into basketball and got you into sports exactly?
Let's see here. So I really started playing basketball probably around the age of 6 or 7 because I was very tall, of course, taller than everyone else. And so my parents got me involved in sports. First, I started off as a cheerleader, then I got into softball. But of course, those two activities or sports that wasn't my thing. So I got into basketball, and I really wanted to play basketball because of my brother. He's
Mm-hmm.
about 6 years older than me, so he played at Gresham Park, and of course his little sister wanted to play at Gresham Park. So I started at Gresham Park playing. I wasn't that good at all. At all. We used to actually shoot the ball over the goal, which was hilarious. But eventually my mom got me into got me training as well as on an AAU team. And so I
Mm-hmm.
developed my skills while playing AAU, and they play a major part in my development in basketball.
Okay.
Mhm.
So with you playing, having your major development in basketball, and we're speaking on just going to Gresham Park. That park is legendary, and it's
Yeah.
put so many athletes not only just into the professional ranks, it's also put people into the collegiate ranks as well, and they've helped people get to parts of life that normally they wouldn't get financially outside of that unless their parents had some money. So, what is it? What makes Gresham Park such a special place?
Well, it was only really Gresham Park, I believe, Browns Mill. So even though I grew up in Decatur, I was my elementary years I spent time in East Atlanta area. So it was the park right up the street, not too far from my house. And so I know a lot of greats have come out of Gresham Park. And that was just the park to be or the park to play with during that time.
Most definitely.
Mhm.
I mean, when you look at it, it's too many people to name. Y'all have some
It's a lot.
that are from the east side, man. Shout out to Quincy Carter. He's one of those
Mhm.
cats. He's a friend on Facebook, and he's definitely doing his thing at Southwest Dekalb, your
Yes,
alma mater
yes.
right now. But
Mhm.
your buddy, our guy, Sinquay, better known as Scoop the Black Wall Street, as we call him
Yep,
on here.
Cinquay. Shout out to Cinquay.
Hey, so, that's McNair right there. So little
Right.
rivalry there.
Yes, it
That's a little
is. Yes.
rivalry there.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's just funny that y'all are like, it's just weird. Y'all side of town is like a big family reunion. Y'all all
Hmm.
go to different schools that's over there, but y'all all are like close knit outside of the east side. Like, what is it that brings you guys together from growing up in that Decatur area that makes that community so close?
I think sports brought us together, especially when we were middle school, high school. We were always playing against each other. I went to Chapel Hill Middle School, so we played against McNair. We played against Stevenson, Lithonia, and so we pretty much grew up together on the east side of town. And I've developed a lot of relationships with athletes, whether they play basketball or football. And to this day, a lot of us are still friends. We see each other out and about. We communicate or keep up with each other on social media. And so, I mean, the East Side is not that large, I guess I would say. Most of us probably grew up down the street from one another, but the East Side is where it is. Yep, that's
Yeah,
where it is.
my cousin back in the day, he used to go to Clarkston back in the day, back in
Oh,
the 80s. So,
mhm,
he's an east sider. So I got a couple of relatives out on the east
mhm.
side, even though I'm a Ben Hill baby.
You've been here.
So,
Okay.
it's
Nothing
all
wrong with
good
being
though.
here. Nothing wrong with
Yes,
being here.
yes, ma'am.
We used to play Ben
So
Hill at Gresham Park. They had a pretty good girls basketball team. We could not beat Ben Hill to save our lives for some reason. but
Football
it
team,
was all
football
good.
team a little nice too now, but we ain't gonna.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna start that mess because I know Scoop gonna come out of nowhere and start talking trash. So it's what it is. But let's talk about it. So you moved from Gresham Park to moving up to Southwest Dekalb High School, one of the legendary schools in the city that's put out so many great players
Mhm.
into the NFL and also produced a lot of great people. What was your time like at Southwest DeKalb when you first got there before you became from just Lauren to LA?
Well, I didn't get LA into college, but um, I was excited to go to Southwest DeKalb. Like I said, I went to Chapel Hill Middle School. We went undefeated. And so transitioning to Southwest DeKalb for me wasn't, I adjusted pretty well because I felt like I could contribute to the team and be one of the star players at the school because I had a lot of experience. Like I said, playing at AAU, I gained so much experience as far as going to state every year and
Mm-hmm.
playing on the national level against the top girls in the state and also in the US. I was ranked top 100 going into Southwest DeKalb and while at Southwest DeKalb. So my freshman year, when I first started, my coach was kind of like, I don't know if you're ready to play varsity. But of course, I went to her office and let her know, like, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to play. I'm ready to contribute to the team. And so I played a few games of JV, scored about 25, 30 points. And of course, when varsity season came around, I played varsity, then eventually became a starter for the next, 3 years or 4 years. And so I was just glad that my coach did give me that opportunity and she believed in me for those 4 years while at Southwest DeKalb.
Hmm. And you went from transitioning to just being now your boy Scoop said my boy Scoop said what's up. That's
She was fine.
Quay. Yeah, she was fine. He said that all the time. He said, hey, he said if she had a little bit more hop, she'd dunk on you.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I wish I had more handles while in high school. We'll talk about college in a second,
Oh yeah.
but
Oh
I
yeah.
wish I had a little bit more game as far as like guard like skills in high school. But one of my moves was the spin move. Used to get them every time. But so I say that's my signature move. But it really carried me, during my high school days of playing.
And speaking of, like you're saying on your spin move, a lot of kids don't understand the fact that you don't just practice what you see on YouTube all the time. You got to go up to the rec centers, you got to go up to the parks outside of AAU ball, outside of high school, and you got to compete with other players. Some players, and we always say this. Most of your great athletes don't ever get out of high school. Some of the people that should be in the pros are better than most of your professionals out here because most of your competition, it just happens. It's like that everywhere. But what was it like growing up and really developing your toughness, learning your moves, and getting your skill set together when it came to honing your craft, growing up practicing in around those parks and everything else?
Yeah, I know my mom used to take me to the park. I remember one park in Ellenwood. We would always go there, get some shots up, work on a few moves. My mom played a big part in my development as a basketball player. She got me a trainer. He was no joke. um, he was no joke, put it like that. So he helped me out a lot as far as developing in high school and just my teammates. We got better each and every day. We motivated each other. We went hard every day on the court. And so, like I said, playing at AAU was really a plus for me, along with training and my mom putting in that extra, work with me by taking me to the park to develop my game.
So when did you really fall in love with the game? Your mom put the ball in your hand. She helped develop you, your brother. But when did that love fall into place for you?
I would probably say about middle school. I know most girls today, they don't really start playing until middle and high school. But middle school, I just fell in love with my middle school coach. He really just brought the excitement around the game of basketball. He was always there for us. He was like a mentor. He would do everything for us. And so I believe that he brought that, he was one of the reasons I really fell in love with basketball, as well as, of course, being good and being around other girls who were good as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you
Mhm.
look at, and I tell people like this, I said, I think the toughest young ladies on the court are the ones that grew up playing with the boys. It's the truth. When
Yeah.
you see them out there throwing elbows and doing everything else on the court, taking charges, I mean, those are your best hoopers. And knowing you playing with your brothers as friends and no one was going to take it easy on you, that really put you in a place to understand what competition was like.
Right. To this day, people want to play me. I'm like, I'm retired. I can't play anymore. But, they knew that I was tough and I was, pretty decent playing basketball. And so, yeah, you got to be tough playing basketball. And like I said, playing with, boys or against boys and going to the park playing, it really helped me develop my game.
And I got to ask this question because, you have some guys who are just salty at competing, period. How many fellas' feelings did you hurt? Because I already know that they might have been in their feelings when you hit that game winning shot, or you just went ahead and just glided right by them with a finger roll. How many of them dudes did you hurt their feelings to where they didn't even want to talk to you after you beat them?
I don't even recall. They probably still had that same feeling to this day, but I don't even know. I really don't. I know I got beat a lot. So, of
It
course,
comes
getting
with the
beat a lot
territory.
helps you go harder the next game, help you develop your game and get better with your game. So, sometimes you got to take a L in order to, get better.
Hey, I mean that's the only way that you learn, man. So
Mhm.
with the L's that you took, as you're speaking on right now,
Not many,
and it
but
got not many. Hey, but you had to get some kind of learning experiences to know what
mhm.
to do to work on your game. And when you worked on your game, you started to generate some recruiting. What was it? What was the recruiting process like for you? And what schools recruited you during that process? And how was that transition for you?
Well, I got my first letter 10th grade. I thought I was all that. Totally forgot what school it was, but they started coming in. I had tubs full of letters, about three tubs full of letters from all schools, from Division 1, 2, not too much 3, but just the mid majors and of course the power D1, the bigger D1 schools. So of course all athletes get, well, I'm not, well, most athletes get mail around 10th grade. Junior year it kind of slow up, and colleges tend to focus on certain girls. So um, during that time, my junior year, I was in contact with like Clemson, Miami, Georgia Tech was interested, Georgia for a little bit. So a lot of big schools were interested. Until my senior year, of course, I had to narrow it down to about 4.
Did you have any? And see, on this show, I support HBCUs heavy, and so does my crew.
Mhm.
That's something that we do. Did you have any HBCUs that were looking at you or even interested?
No, I did not, honestly. I did not. I did
See,
not.
that's the problem. They don't want to recruit the cream of the crop, man. What's wrong with them? And I love HBCUs to the day that I die, but I also, as you see, I got this dog on me too. So,
I see. We go see tomorrow, but okay.
and I see we gonna get to that later. We talking
Okay.
about you right now.
All right.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it like this. Don't worry. I'm gonna get to you later with that one.
Okay.
But
We
we
go.
gonna talk about this right now. But getting to it now, going through that process, how was that journey? Was it stressful? Was it really tough to figure out where you wanted to go and what was going to be home, and what really put you in a position to where you say, man, this I kind of like this here, the familiarity. I'm gonna spend my next 4 years here. This is gonna be home. Like, what was that process for you like?
It was a tough process because this was really my first time and my parents' first time going through the recruiting process. I didn't really learn. Well, I learned a lot through my process, but we'll talk about it later. When I became a college coach, I really kind of understood the recruiting process. Um, but my senior year, I did take visits to college. And also, I think the first semester of my senior year, 9/11 happened. And so, of course, the world was just, a different place during that time. And so I knew for sure I wanted to stay close to home, but out of state. And so I took a visit to Mississippi State, was about, I think, 4.5 hours away from here. It was a little too far in country for me. And
Mhm.
so, but I really loved their culture and their program, their head coach, coaching staff. But when I went on my Clemson visit, I fell in love with Clemson. Just the atmosphere, the love from the coaches, my teammates. It was not too far from home. Football atmosphere was amazing. Like all it takes is for you to go to one Clemson game, you will fall in love with the atmosphere. And so I decided to go with Clemson. I felt like that was the best fit for me.
That's what's up. So when you speak on that, and you went to the Clemson football game,
Mhm.
and you got to see what that was like, and that environment won you over. Did you believe that the basketball environment was going to be the same type of atmosphere, or did you kind of know that like it might not be as steady as the football atmosphere? Because a lot of people, they bring you in on those recruiting trips
Mhm.
when it's just tailgating. It's pretty much
Mhm.
just to reel you in.
Yeah, I kind of figured our games probably wouldn't be that lit, but I think we had a pretty good crowd at our games, depending on who we played. But I was okay with our atmosphere. Our fans were amazing at Clemson, the ones who supported us. We did play against larger crowds, especially when we played our rivals, South Carolina. And so that was always a awesome atmosphere to play in. And I know women's basketball have evolved so much now. And so
Mhm.
more and more people are watching the game. And so if I played today, I mean, words wouldn't describe how I would feel, playing against thousands of people in an arena. And so I wish we had those type of crowds, but you know what? I was okay with what we had and the support that we had at Clemson
Now, see, I was one of the ones that was watching ladies basketball at the time
during that
coming up.
time.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I know you're a Clemson Tiger, but Ivory Ladder was my favorite
Okay.
player.
I
That was
respect
that was my
that.
girl.
Okay. She's
But
good.
you know what though? I still think you was nice, because I do remember seeing how you would just crash the boys and how your aggressive play was just. I respect hustlers and people that actually play with heart and grit. You
Yeah.
had a lot of
Mhm.
heart and grit, and that was something that I respect. And I was really excited when I found out. Oh shoot, we got Lauren coming through the show. She was a dog on the court, boy.
Yeah, I had
And
to switch
and
my game
whew,
up in college. I was more of a scorer and rebounder in high school. When I got to college, I was kind of undersized. Even though I'm 6'2", I was definitely undersized in the ACC. I would guard girls 6'4", 6'5". And so my game changed a whole lot. I became more of a rebounder than a scorer. But, I contribute to my team. I did what I could on the court in order for us to win. And so I just played my role.
and and so when you look at, like you said, the game has evolved. Your boy wanted
I
to ask
see
you
it.
a question.
Yeah.
He wanted to know, how do you feel about today's women's basketball game, skill set wise, and just the way that the game has just changed skill wise. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love watching Angel Reese play. I love watching Caitlin Clark play. It's just amazing where we've come from to where it is today. And I like how so many people are watching, giving us, giving those athletes the attention that they deserve, because they put in work just like the male athletes put in work. And so just to see them be able to display their talent in front of thousands of people or millions of people, it's amazing. I love it.
And the tournaments that you guys play in are, let's get to it. The ACC tournament. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter whether it's men or women. That tournament is, you talk about the competition side of things and the tournament. That is a bloodbath. My older cousin played at Florida State from 93 all the way to 97, James Collins. He's on the
Mhm.
wall. He's in their Hall of Fame at Florida
Okay.
State. He
Okay.
played with Bobby Sora and those guys. But he always talked about what a gauntlet was for him at that time. going against Tim Duncan in his prime, going against James Forrest, who played at Georgia Tech, and so many of those guys. What was it like going through Ivory Ladder and all those all that competition when you talk about Elena Beard and at Duke and all these different athletes that were controlling the women's narrative at that time, because the ACC and Stanford and UConn were pretty much where it was at. Mm-hmm. What was that competition like, you going against that day in and day out?
So Duke was great. They were amazing during my time. Duke in North Carolina. And so I remember Duke game. It came on TV. I think it was on ESPN2. I had to guard Elena Beard. Lord have mercy. But I held her down.
Saying it. I'm sorry.
She didn't score against me, so I was happy with that. Even though we didn't win, but we gave our best effort during that game. But it was tough every night playing against Florida State, North Carolina, Duke. Those girls were dogs because at the college level, everyone is good, and so just being able to play against that type of competition and to say that you played against that type of competition is, it's rare that people are able to say that. So I was just grateful that I had the opportunity to play against a lot of, great athletes.
And when you talk about how great those athletes are, the ACC basketball is seen like how SEC football is seen. It's just bar none. And I think the only other conference that comes close to that it's not how it used to be, but the Big East was a top dog at that time still. Mm-hmm. And you look at the competition level, how do you think that NIL and everything has dispersed all the talent all over the country, opposed to you guys having just that pocket in that region of all that talent right in that area? How do you think it's helped the game or hurt the game, if you would say so?
NIL deals. I guess like Tennessee, UConn, they were powerhouses. So now I feel like athletes are, let's see, NIL deals. I'm all for athletes getting NIL deals because we put in work. It's like a job being an athlete. It's a job. Even though I didn't get paid in college, I wish I did, but even though I did not get paid in college, at least it helps athletes to get a start, because of course all athletes will not make it to the league. And so at least it's a start for those athletes.
Okay. So what would you say would be, now we're talking also about NIL and competition. Who is the player? When did you have your, as we would all say, your baptism by fire when you first stepped on campus? Who was that player that welcomed you to college sports and pretty much got you to take your game to another level?
I would say my roommate, Chicken Bone, Lakia Stokes. She's actually from Newton, Georgia. We went at it in practice. Even though she was a guard, she kind of took me under her wings, and we just she was just there to kind of be a listening ear, even though it was tough for me to adjust to the college basketball life, because it's going from high school to college is two different worlds. Like the game and the speed of the game it's crazy how it changes. And so I think she was very helpful with me adjusting to the college life or basketball life, along with Kenitra Queen. She actually all my teammates. And so I give them pretty much a lot of credit. We were not that we were the best team in the ACC, but I felt like we came together, we stuck together, we built a strong bond among each other.
Okay. And so, before I get to the next question, ladies and gentlemen, we got to take a quick commercial break. Got to go ahead and let you guys know what we have coming up on September the 29th. We still got a lot to go with Miss Lauren Allen. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and get this commercial fired up, and then we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
What the hell going on here?
What's going on here is pretty much the Saints versus the Falcons, September the 29th at Dave & Buster's. We call this the hunting grounds. So all the fans of the Birdcage and the Falcons are welcome to come. We definitely would love to have you there. Also, we have a live show that will be taking place after the game. We're going to be giving out prizes for raffle tickets. So when you purchase your ticket, you're automatically in. We're going to have hors d'oeuvres, a cash bar there as well. So if you're not interested in the cash bar or the hors d'oeuvres, go ahead and get that food from the waiters and waitresses. So you can contact us at 404-585-1445 or the Birdcage LLC at gmail.com. You either get right or you get left. Ghost. Birdcage. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys go ahead and tune in on September the 29th with us at Dave & Buster's. If you don't have your tickets, go ahead and get your tickets. We got those things for sale. But we're gonna stop taking money September the 20th, so y'all better jump on there real quick, man. But getting back to Miss Lauren Allen, definitely appreciate you giving us a second to catch our breath. Who did you look up to growing up as a competitor, and you pretty much honing your game and just really trying to learn how to play the game, or just a person that you looked up to and you tried to model your game after?
Well, I don't know if I tried to model my game after anyone, but I love Vince Carter. And so I just love how hard he played. Vince Carter was like one of my favorite players. But as far as female players, probably Lisa Leslie, because she was a post player. I was a post player. I enjoy watching her play in the WNBA, and it's so many women I enjoy playing. I enjoy watching.
So I mean, like I said, man, I'm not too much. I'm not too old. I remember when the WNBA was in its infancy stage. I remember watching Dawn Staley, who's at South Carolina right now. Rebecca Lobo, Teresa Thompson. I mean, when I say I was a student of the game, my favorite player, like I said, I just loved Dawn Staley's game. That's because nice. When you talk about a Philly girl, that's North Philly all day. And when you look at women's basketball, and I still say this to this day, I think that you guys have been underrated for so long, and you guys have taken a back seat for too long as athletes. I think you guys should have had the respect that you have now a long time ago. And I feel as if you guys it's sad that you guys are finally, it took for Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese to go at it, or the girls from South Carolina to win national championships to pretty much get the notoriety that you guys are getting now, because y'all had some dogs back in the day. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And when you look at, like you said, you look at that Tennessee program back in the day, that was scary. Looking at all those women that came through, that was very scary to even picture, to even be in the post with some of them females, because they threw elbows better than we did.
Yeah. I think social media played a big part. So we didn't have social media, back. Well, I guess we had Facebook, but it's not the same. So, girls now are posting their workouts, they're posting life outside of basketball. And so I think that has helped the women's game as well, or helped, people to keep up with the women's game. If we had social media, I think, we would have hopefully have gotten our props probably back in the day, maybe. But I think social media has played a big part.
I think if social media was around, we would have had more athletes, not just women athletes. A lot of those athletes that we talked about that did not get past the high school level, that didn't get those opportunities, I think we would have had more competition in all sports all the way across the board if we would have had the social media that these kids have now, where they could go outside, they could run a 4-3, run around a couple of cones or whatnot. I'm an old defensive back, by the way. So I'm just saying, these kids could get a scholarship just from running around the cones. They don't even have to have that much footage. Just because they have the intangibles, they get the job. So I feel like, and I'll say this, I feel like our generation of athletes were a hell of a lot tougher than these kids now, because now it's like y'all complain about extra running. I mean, go to the high schools. This is no lie. Go to the high schools and look at some of these kids. They get mad when coaches yell at them and cuss at them. It's like, man, that was a normal language to us.
It was, yes.
You got called so many MFs or dumb A's and all this here. You thought that was your name. You forgot what your name was during the game. Like, coach call you something like, I got you, coach. Or, you might, it was just different. Kids now today are not as tough and didn't have to go through the arduous times that we had to go through. I think we're the last of the Mohicans, as we can say. Because now you have to, as we talked about, NIL, kid get his feelings hurt, he's going to take his money and go elsewhere just because he got fussed at in practice the other day.
Right.
So, and I feel like it weakens people in society that they can't take a little criticism of somebody being tough. And I think that it's got to change. I think we're the last generation to do that. And for me, I respect women's basketball more because you see women hit the transfer portal, but you don't see them hit the transfer portal like these dudes do. And I'm a diehard football fan, sports fan, but we have more cats hitting the transfer portal. Now, I get if you're not getting playing time and you're a good player, 5-star, that's forgotten. But if you get your feelings hurt or something, it's been a lot of kids to have that to happen. Now, you can't even get coached hard. Like, I tell people like this. Now, you're a Clemson fan and I'm a Georgia fan. One thing I'll say about Clemson and Georgia, Dabo and Kirby, they will cuss you out.
Yeah.
And if you can't take it, this ain't the place for you because guess what? I got championships to win. I don't give a damn about your attitude.
Yeah, I know in college, our coach used to get after us. And he will always say, don't listen to the tone, listen to the message, and I use that to this day. But we got yelled at. I got kicked out of a practice before. But, I learned my lesson. I think it made me a tough person to this day.
Oh, wait a minute. Pause. Who did you put pause on that day? Because that's the only way you getting kicked out of practice if you got piss poor effort or you put hands on somebody.
That's what it is. I didn't give my best effort that day. I guess I was going through the motions and, you can't do that in college. That's a no.
Hey, somebody's mortgage is relying on how you play. That's the difference. But getting back to it, what was your most memorable game that you had at Clemson, and what was one of your favorite moments playing at Clemson as a basketball player?
I think my most memorable moment would be we beat South Carolina, and so
rival.
Yes, we beat our rival. I don't even remember what year. My mind is bad now, but yeah, we did beat South Carolina at South Carolina. So that was just such a big deal. That was like winning the Super Bowl or the national championship. And so to this day, there's a picture in Little John Coliseum of us celebrating. So every time I go back to a Clemson game, I have my picture is on the wall. So that's pretty cool to have. But that was just one of those games where it clicked for us as a team. And we did it, and so I will always remember that game or that day.
Okay. And what was your favorite? I mean, that was your favorite game, your favorite moment. But what was your best game that you had at Clemson?
My best game? I think I'm not sure exactly who we played, but I believe I had about 15 or so rebounds. So that was my best game. I think that's the most rebounds I've had in my college career. Like I said, I didn't score too much, but just being able to rebound for my team. I think I had majority of them were offensive rebounds. So I believe that was my, best moment at Clemson.
It's hard to get it. It's hard to get in.
Look, being 6'2".
Hey, it's hard working in the paint. I got to give you that. It's hard working in the paint. And for you to do what you did, that's the reason I say you have a lot of dog in you. That's just something that you can't turn on and turn off. Dogs recognize dogs no matter what sport it is. You see if somebody got that heartbeat.
Yeah.
A lot of the kids now, I hate to say it, they don't have heartbeat like that no more. A lot of them don't understand what true competition is. Like, I'll be honest with you. When we talk about competing, I was a bit of a sore loser. I'm not going to lie. I shake your hand after the game, but I would be pissed.
Me
And I
too.
literally, it would ruin my night to lose. Didn't want to be around nobody, would sit in the room. What do you think? Like, and I'm being honest, like it's tough, but you learn how to lose, but you can't accept it if you get what I'm saying.
Mhm.
I think the toughest thing for people that are very competitive and you're always looking for an edge is having people that don't play with heart and don't play with fire. And it's tough going from a situation where you do come from a school like Southwest Dekalb and you play tough. And I know you love Clemson, but you go into a process where you guys were laying the foundation for better players to come in to try to uplift that program. Not saying that you guys weren't great, but having more players that had your skill set to take the program to another level. What was that process like going through the rebuilding process and really understanding that you guys probably might not be around when this program starts to become a powerhouse or starts to become competitive in the ACC tournament or even playing pretty much playing in the NCAA tournament. What was that process like knowing that going into that situation?
It was tough. Like I said, the powerhouse schools were Duke, North Carolina, probably Florida State, Virginia. So it was tough recruiting at Clemson, but we did what we could with what we had. We made the best of it. But when you have those powerhouses, of course, girls, they want to play for the best program, and so at one point, I believe like 95 or so, Clemson won the ACC championship. So, of course, that was our goal to win the ACC championship, which we never did. We never made it to the NCAA tournament, but we did make it to the NIT. And so that was a big accomplishment for us. But, to this day, just, going through the rebuilding process, a program with Clemson. And to this day, I think they are still rebuilding. So I just hope one day, we'll find that right player and it will take off from there.
So Scoop's got a question for you again,
Mm-hmm.
my boy. He says, what advice would you give 14-year-old Lauren and what advice would you give college freshman Lauren?
Let's see, 14-year-old Lauren, far as athletes, as far as athletics or being an athlete,
it doesn't matter whether it's whether it's athletics or whether it's in life.
In life, I guess at 14, a lot of things came natural to me. I do wish I put in more work. If I put in more work, I think I would have been, of course, better at playing basketball or just not saying I'm not a great person now, but I think I just would have been I don't know if I would have maybe gone to Clemson. I may have gone to maybe a bigger school when it came to athletics, but I'm grateful and blessed that I was able to go to Clemson University. But as a freshman, I just still put in that work. I just wish I just put in more work. And when I became a coach, I used to stress that all the time, like go hard, give 110% effort, because you never know where it would take you. And so I think by playing sports helped me develop my leadership skills today, my time management skills, and so many other skills that I possess.
Okay. So you graduate Clemson,
Mm-hmm.
you end up coaching at Furman for a little bit. You realize that wasn't for you, and you choose to become a teacher to help mold young minds. And not only just being a teacher, you're a mom. You're molding a young mind every day in that house.
Yes.
What put you on the path to become an educator and try to make a difference in the community, in the community of Atlanta as a teacher? Because there's a shortage of teachers all across this country, and you chose a career path that doesn't get much accolades or a lot of thank yous. There's more of the parents coming in trying to fuss at you saying, well, my baby don't do this here, my baby don't do this here. I'm gonna tell you right now, half of y'all got some badass kids. I'm gonna say it. She ain't gotta say it, but I'm gonna say it. Half of y'all got some badass kids. Y'all need to go ahead, pull out the belt, and start whipping ass. I'm telling you that now. Make these teachers' lives easy because they already have enough on their plate by trying to teach your child, not being a parent. So that's what I have for you. Let's go ahead and start being a little bit better to these teachers. That's the message I got. Now let me get off my soapbox and get back to your career plan. I apologize.
So growing up, I used to play teacher all the time. And so I guess I really wanted to be a teacher. And so when I got into sports, in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't want to be a teacher. I want to play professional basketball. But of course, that did not work out. And I did get a scholarship to LaGrange College as a graduate assistant coach. And so during that time, I took master's classes in education, and I just fell in love with teaching. Did my student teaching for a couple of years at a middle school, fell in love with it. And so after I graduated with my master's, I did not get into teaching right away, but a few years later, I did. I did start my first year of teaching in Atlanta Public Schools at a school on the west side of Bankhead, and it was rough. It was rough. It was rough. That's all I can say. But, I did my 2 years, and I felt like it prepared me to be the teacher that I am today. I'm grateful to work at the school that I teach at right now. My kids are great. My administration is great. I'm doing the best I can to motivate my students every day. I love watching them grow each and every day. And so I just enjoy it. I enjoy being around my middle schoolers. I love it.
What subject do you actually teach for your middle schoolers?
Math. I teach 8th grade math this year.
Lord, I would have ran from your class. I would have ran from your class, man. I wasn't a man.
Enjoyable.
I wasn't a listen. I was more of an English and history guy. If you really want to know the truth, that's why my nickname is the historian. I'll tell you that. I love history. I love. Everybody thought I was crazy, but I love writing papers. So it didn't bother me to write while I was going through political science school and graduated last year. Thank God. It didn't bother me to write 15, 20-page papers. It didn't. So it was more so like when I got in front of a mathematical equation, I'm like, Lord, all right, it's gonna take me about an hour to figure this out. But as a kid, and you're teaching these middle school kids, I know some of those kids, they're like, oh, Miss Allen is so nice. She's got the prettiest smile. They walk in that class. Damn, I walked into the wrong class. I wasn't supposed to get in there. I know you get one of those kids that get nervous when they see those math problems.
Yeah, I mean, of course, a lot of kids are, they shy away from math. But like I say, I try to make it enjoyable. Being 6'2", they may, be a little intimidated by my height to start before they even come into math class.
Yeah, but, and you gotta do, and look, you have one of the softest voices right now. But when you get loud, I kind of hear you how you project your voice.
I'm a little stern at times. I could be stern at times.
You
not a mean person.
Wait a minute, you 6'2" and you get stern with your voice. Any boy that's got a little bit of fear is gonna look at you like, I ain't trying, Miss Allen. You might think about it, but you're not gonna try it. It's 6'2", yeah, and you don't realize that she used to play in the paint with the big girls.
Yeah, a lot of them can't. They don't. I always tell them that I did play basketball, but of course they can't see that. They only see Miss, they only see Miss Allen, the math teacher. But I try to school them on, my days of playing. But, I enjoy it. So, like I said, I try to make my class enjoyable, try to keep my students engaged. And hopefully, by the end of the year, I'm their favorite teacher and math is their favorite subject.
Well, I'm just glad that you actually have the mindset that you do to help young people develop and just get to a different place mentally, because there's a lot of teachers who don't care about kids anymore. They just get their paycheck and they just try to get to that pension quick as they can. And it's a blessing to see that we have educators out here still that are taking the time to really try to help kids get to that next level, because There are so many kids that are flunking out of school, dropping out because they're afraid of challenges. And with you taking up the challenge to motivate, big ups to you.
Yeah.
Now,
And I
now
know
I'll say
because I
this.
have a little one, and so the same work I put in for my students, I want her teacher to do the same for her.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how that goes. But now we definitely appreciate all the efforts that you put out here, and your 6'2" frame scaring the hell out of them teenage boys at the school. But
But they used to be now.
yeah, they used to you now. I'm like, man, that's Miss Allen right there. She cool. But but I got to get to a part of this conversation that ain't gonna be so cool today,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, what I'm rocking right now, you see I got this Georgia Bulldog shirt on, and she got that Clemson shirt on. Tomorrow, the dogs and those Tigers play tomorrow. Or should I say toothless Tigers? I'm talking smack right now. Yeah, I said it. Them toothless Tigers.
What happened the last time we met? I'm
We
trying to
beat
think.
y'all.
Yeah,
We
I
beat
did.
y'all en route
Yeah,
to a national championship. Last
yeah.
time I heard. And even before that, with the beloved Grady Jarrett of the Atlanta Falcons, who
Yep, Grady
played for the
Jarrett.
Clemson Tigers,
Shout out to Grady. Yes.
he got his ass handed to him by Mr. Todd Gurley. 4 touchdowns in that ball game and ran over Grady Jarrett in that ball game. And I love me some Grady. But hey, I love you now because you're a Falcon. But when you was a Tiger, you had no love, brother. But let's get to it. So, what do you think is going to be the key for Clemson tomorrow to have a prayer in the wing to even beat Georgia tomorrow? Yeah, I said it.
Ooh. Ooh.
It's treacherous in here.
I
It's
think we're ranked.
treacherous.
I think we're ranked what 14th.
I think so because we're still the number 1 team in the country right now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be very tough. We just got to get back. We got to get after the quarterback, right? We got to limit our turnovers. You know what? We gonna see what happened.
If I'm gonna tell you
we
this,
gonna see what happened. Georgia's my second favorite team, so it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be very tough. But Georgia is beatable on any day, any night.
yeah,
So
no
you
lie.
never know what's the outcome will be. Never know.
Well, if Tate Ratledge if he blocked any worse than he did in the SEC championship game, I really believe that y'all might have a chance to get to the quarterback. But again, you got one of Duval County's finest in the back playing quarterback for the Dogs, who a lot of Georgia fans didn't want, and I got receipts on that. But the man balled out all last year. The game
I'm about to say I have faith.
was against Bama.
Okay, I'm about to say I have faith in Clemson. I do. Look, Georgia Tech beat Florida State. Anything can happen. I have faith.
Man, Florida State was an inflated team. We all know this here, Lo.
Well, their quarterback came from Clemson.
All know this here.
Their quarterback came from Clemson.
And he got on the first thing smoking up out of there too.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. They haven't been talking much about Clemson, honestly.
They have. They talked about y'all front seven. They said and this is one thing I give Dabo Swinney, even though y'all lost Coach Brent Venables and he's at Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, right. Mm-hmm.
And he's doing his thing there.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you up front, Clemson is going to be one of the teams that's going to have one of the best front sevens in the league, period. In the college, and really not just the ACC, but just college football in general. I'm taking my dog hat off now and being an analysis. So I'll give you this. When you look at it, Clemson is always going to be able to rush the passer. Now, the thing that's going to hurt them is their secondary. Nate Wiggins isn't back there no more.
That's true.
AJ Terrell just got his contract with the Falcons.
Mm-hmm. We did lose some good DBs, right?
So
some safeties.
Mm-hmm. So we kind of clown AJ. Now I'm one of the ones who clown AJ a little bit. I'm sorry. I expect a lot from him because he's a hometown kid and a first round pick. I'm like that with Pitts too. So it ain't just AJ. I'm like that with everybody. They'll tell you. But I'll say this though. I think Clemson has a chance with Mr. Loganville, Georgia himself, Mr. Moffitt in that backfield. He definitely is a load to bring down at 230 pounds coming downhill. But Georgia their front seven has to establish an identity, because last year they got gashed more than they should have. Still was a good defense, but it wasn't a suffocating defense that it once was. And there's a lot of young guys in Georgia right now.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is that at this point, I feel like the way that Georgia's going to take Clemson out is if Carson Beck opens up Mike Bobo opens up that playbook for Carson Beck to throw the football and take Clemson out of being 8 in the box and ready to shut down that running game. That is going to be the key offensively. Defensively, you can't let Cade Klubnik get comfortable, and you really can't let him establish any kind of confidence. Because if he does get any confidence, he is capable of using his legs to become a tough player, and they got the blueprint from Alabama. So,
well, you know all the players.
Hey, it's even worse.
I feel so bad. I'm like, who's Clemson quarterback? I'll find out tomorrow.
It's okay. It's okay.
Because a lot has changed around Clemson football, So hopefully, I just want to win the ACC and make it to the playoffs. That's I would like to see that.
You'll find out your quarterback's name if we get a pass rush on him, because we gonna put him down if we can get back.
Do you know who it is?
Yeah, Cade Klubnik is your quarterback.
Oh, he was there last year, right? Last season?
He was there last season.
Okay.
So, y'all, like I said, y'all still have a lot of good weapons, and I think it's going to be a great day of football. But I also know that you're a Falcons fan, too. Atlanta, everything.
Yes, I love the Falcons since Mike Vick or before. But, yeah, definitely a Falcons fan. Pretty excited for the season. I'm excited to see Kirk Cousins play and see what our defense do this year, So
we were top 10 D last year.
Yeah. So we gonna see. Excited for the new coaching staff, giving Morris an opportunity to lead our team. So I'm excited.
And so for you Falcon fans that are tuning in for the first time, please hit that like and that subscribe button, because every Thursday at 8 p.m. we do talk Falcons football. And then we also have interview segments, as you see right here. Normally we have them on Wednesday, but because of Miss Allen's schedule, we had to schedule it on a Friday. So it's okay. I still get to catch some Friday night football, so I'm good with it. But this is one of my favorite interviews. I've got a lot of them and a lot of great interviews that we've had, but this has definitely been one of the best. And we want you to come back during the season to talk some Falcon football with us, man. We love when we have a lady's perspective coming into the show. We've had a couple of ladies. One of our ladies that was on Twitter, her name's E. She's come in here. She's cooked, and you definitely are cooking as well. And shout out to Miss Kibo Weir, who's off the grid right now, but she said she might come in here. She's a dog and a Falcon fan too. So we definitely appreciate the radiance of positivity that you are bringing to this podcast talking about the Falcons. We definitely appreciate it. So thank you for telling us your story today. I definitely enjoyed learning a little bit more about you outside of the hardwood, knowing about your teaching endeavors, and just wow, you definitely have been an incredible guest, and just so much insight and so many things that you dropped today that could help a lot of people out here. Hard work pays off.
It does. It definitely does. Yes, I agree.
So I definitely appreciate you coming onto the Perch today. We definitely look forward to having you again. So please stay backstage for a second. I had to definitely holler at you about the party. So we're going to try to get that squared away. So thank you for coming through, Miss Allen. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the episode of Miss Lauren Allen coming through onto On the Perch, hanging with us. So, like I said before, if you're a Falcons fan, come through Thursday nights, 8 p.m. live. You can always catch us on the replays or whatnot. We definitely talk Falcons football, and we're going to start talking a little college ball too, as you saw we worked that in there. So you either get right or you get left. This is the Birdcage. This is your boy, the historian. Shout out to the magnificent Birdcage crew. They always hold it down and do the damn thing for us too. So we love you. We'll see you next week. Peace.